This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
How good is that?
Special podcast for you tonight, guys. Special podcast for you today, guys.
What if I want to listen to it tonight?
But I beg your pardon.
You can listen.
Did you just run 4 words together?
5,
Yeah.
I think.
What if tonight or today, you can... This is the best thing about a podcast. You can listen to it anytime.
For you
Could
choose.
you listen to it at sunset?
Yep. Why
What
not?
about at sunrise?
Sunrise podcast.
I'm going to come back in a couple of years and listen to this podcast. Is this the Bunnings one, mate?
Yeah, this is my favourite Bunnings one.
Great. Gotcha.
I want to know if you found love at Bunnings. One lady thinks it is the best place to find a man. You walk in there, you see a guy who looks like he can handle himself around the tools, and the next thing you know, you're back in the bedroom for a bit of how's it going?
Well, Tom, you got caught stealing a broom at Bunnings, didn't you?
Well, just a
No,
handle.
it was the downpipes.
Well, thankfully, where did I hide it? Well, coming up next, I shall reveal.
My bum.
I shall reveal, and
How's that? It was a
bits of
great
plungery.
Yeah.
idea. It was very interesting the way that you were walking out of Bunnings, though. I think that's what gave it away, Tom.
Did you slip?
I had a pep in my step and a. No, I didn't.
Great news for you being married. I don't think a single woman has ever walked into Bunnings, looked at you and thought, I'd like to take him home.
Yes.
That is
Because
just, and you know what? I mean, you'll hear it on the podcast, but I don't agree in this. Agree with this finding love at
no,
Bunnings.
so true, Tom.
Tom,
Yes.
the day that you were there, Alan Jones was there, and he was asked, give us one word. How do you feel about it, Alan?
Pretty weird day, but enjoy the podcast, everyone.
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
The lowest paid Aussies could soon have a little bit more cash in their wallets. The federal government is looking to boost the minimum wage to fight the ongoing cost of living crisis, which is great. I like this because at the moment we're at $23.23 per hour. That's minimum wage. $13.24.10. What was the most minimum of wage that you received with your first ever job?
I think the heartbreaking thing with how expensive today is, Fitz, is when you say $23 minimum wage, and then they go, we will be increasing the minimum wage to $24.50.
Well, it's 20. Yeah, well, it's an increase, isn't it?
Yeah.
It hasn't been done. Well, you know what? Labor increased it last year, July 2023, but before that, it hadn't been done for
What did
ages.
they get? What did they get last year?
So they got a 5.75% raise in July 2023, and they'll probably get that again. But it needs to go up, obviously, because if you're on minimum wage, I remember working at Franklin's No Frills / No Bills. $9.82 we got an hour. $9.82. I remember $9.82 on my slip.
Right. I remember my first job in radio, which was a full-time job. I was getting $24,000 a year. I don't know what that breaks down to on an hourly rate, but it was not a lot.
Oh gosh, which wouldn't have gone with your $24,000 a week you got from your old man.
No, well, that was the thing. I mean, I was doubling it very quickly, you idiot. But no, $24,000 was all it was. Mel's in comedy. What was the minimum wage, Mel, that you were on? Firstly, what was the job you were doing?
Good morning, guys. My first job when I was in school was like the little hobbity farms when you go to a fete and you have like little animals and like pony rides and that
You
sort
were
of
a
thing.
carny, Mel, yep.
Yeah, sure, we'll call it a carny. Yeah, and I got about $11 an hour, which I thought was pretty good back then, being 16 or whatever.
Well, that'll do.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. When you are young, that is amazing money. It's unbelievable money. Like, and this is the thing. You come home, you got a couple of $100 in your wallet.
Yeah.
This is great. Andrew in Cronulla. What was the most minimum of wage for you, Andrew?
Morning, lads. How are we?
Yeah, good, Andrew.
$5.48.
What were you doing, mate?
Apprentice?
Mate, so in the late 90s, like 99, I just finished school. I was 17 and I started a management traineeship at Coles in Goulburn.
Yeah.
And apparently your pay went on when you left school.
Right.
So, yeah, obviously I was 30 seconds out of school, so it was like the lowest you could go, and it was Mate, no overtime. It was real boys club.
Yeah, sure. $5.40, Andrew.
$5.40. Well,
Coles.
can you remember your biggest paycheck for the week, Andrew? Like, you would have been stoked at that age, but what was your biggest paycheck?
I think it was about $174.
Wow,
See, that
for a month
would
of
have
work.
It would have been massive back there. Remember just snagging $5 off your old man?
Yeah, that was huge.
That was huge.
I used to go down to the chemist on a Saturday morning and smash all the boxes that had been put out the back of the chemist. So my job was just to stomp them down and put them into the recycling. $5 I got from a 9 till midday or job smashing boxes. That was
God. Wow, that must have been one of the lowest points of your life.
it. Yeah, I think it was. Vic's in East Currajong. Hello, Vic.
There you go, fellas.
What was your minimum wage back then, Vic?
Right, it was $5.30 for doing an apprenticeship,
Yep.
a panel beating,
Oh,
and
panel
that was
beating.
from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And then on Saturdays and Sundays, I was making $18 an hour on the railways as a subcontractor at the same time.
Vic, that would have been hard work as a panel beater too. You would have been working your butt off. Can you remember what your best weekly pay was? What did you come home with at the end of the week, Vic?
Well, I can tell you this, I was about not even $100 a week, but I made more money on the weekend for 2 days
Yeah,
compared to the week doing panel beating.
I get it.
Yeah.
Right. Plus, I did that 7 days of the week for a good year.
Yeah, see, but you know what? 7 days a week. Do you regret it, Vic? Do you look back and go, I wish I went and travelled with my mates a little bit more, I had a bit of time off?
No, I don't regret it because I'm still at home.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
good on you, Vic. What a great story. Got a great Aussie story. Work hard, reward.
So, well, I don't know, 7 days a week is...
Yeah.
I mean, that's... You don't get any time to yourself, poor Vic.
Yeah, but he was young at the time.
The Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
This is good because a woman has come out and she's finally said that she knows the number one place to find love if you're a single woman. Have a listen to this, Kate Ritchie.
If you're single and you're looking for a nice partner, go to Bunnings on a Sunday morning. I literally just went in there to get some storage boxes so early in the morning, and it was just a field of men, beautiful men. And you know, those sort of men, they're doing something handy today. They're on the tools on a Sunday morning, or they're getting some things for the house. If you're not from Australia, I'm sure your country has some sort of like Home Depot. And like, they were just so nice. I was struggling to get these boxes, like holding them all. And he's like, oh, do you need a hand? And I'm like, oh, no, but hello.
What I like about that is I think you can hear a kid in the background.
It's not her child, is it?
You don't know.
But that's okay because single
Doesn't matter.
mothers need love too.
Of course they do. And they deserve to be loved, Kate Ritchie.
And this is the thing with Bunnings, you go there to get a hose and you come home with a man. You don't even...
And they could end up costing you more money, if you ask me. You go for a sausage sandwich and look what happens.
What's the warranty on those?
Got a return policy? I know this is a Hail Mary. Because we've done it before and we've had stories of people that have found love in supermarkets. Have you found love in Bunnings? I mean, I am personally in love with Bunnings, but I've never found love in Bunnings. But if you ever bumped into somebody, you've met them, and all of a sudden, while you're looking over some, I don't know, some silicone or a packet of nails or a new screwdriver,
having someone shake your tin for the pain.
Can I
mix that up.
Can I add one extra layer to that?
Go on.
Solicit that you just gave then.
Sure.
Have you ever hooked up with someone who's worked at Bunnings? Because you know what? Those people, they have a photogenic memory. They know where everything is in that store. And I go, how the hell did you know?
It's extraordinary.
Where the cable for the whippersnippers are. How do you know that it's in aisle 35? There's 485 aisles. How did you know
impressive.
I know, and if you can transfer that kind of skill when you work at Bunnings and you know where everything in that store is, how to find it.
And you
what do you mean,
You
Kate?
can't find a spatula at home?
No, it's okay.
You can't find
I'm
it.
just thinking
You
that
might be able
maybe,
to find everything.
maybe in life they can transfer
an
that
idea.
set of
But you don't
skills
wanna take-
into their life. Doesn't matter. Shut up, Kate. Fitzy doesn't get it, and you're over-explaining now.
I get it. But you don't want to take your work home, Kate. But maybe it's your passion. So that is maybe where it plays out.
Yeah. Can I
know-
also quickly
Yes,
say,
Kate.
though, is it love? Is the person you're going to meet at Bunnings the person you should be with? Or, a bit like when I've spoken before about just thinking the sexiest thing in the whole world is seeing a man stand at the sink and do the washing up,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
not-
like
yep.
elbow deep in suds. Like, is that person really the best person for you? Or is it the part of you that needs to be nurtured and that somebody says to you,
Jeez, you're overthinking
are you
this.
okay, madam? Can I help you with something? And you realise that no one has said that to you for like 8 months.
So it's the sadness of the individual looking for the love.
Well,
Can I help
maybe.
you?
I'm not saying sadness. What I'm
Well, it
saying is
sounds like it.
you're going to Bunnings to fill the
Kate,
void.
what we're basically talking about here is going into Bunnings and seeing a guy with his boots on and his shorts and his hairy legs, and he looks handy and he looks muscly and strong and could do anything in this world, and you thinking, "Ooh, I'd like a bit of that."
No.
Don't overcomplicate it. You're putting too much emotion and thought into this.
Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled. This is just raw. This is lust.
That's someone that you think is a single, beautiful man, as this lady describes. That's somebody else's problem. That's what you need to be thinking when you see a man
God,
like
you've
that.
undone this topic, haven't you, mate?
What I'm saying is,
Look, don't bring in your personal history.
no,
Gosh,
but when
what's
you
going-
see them in Bunnings and you like, some people go, "Oh, he's a bit of all right." What you forget is that he's left his house this morning. He's probably left his wife and he's screaming 3 children, and he's escaped to Bunnings like the selfish person that he
Well,
is
then
for
you
an
might
hour.
like, you might
you know
like to
what's-
escape to your house for an hour. Do you know what
Do you
I
know
mean?
what
But
it's
what I'm
really,
saying
it's
is,
really
it's somebody
hard.
else's problem, and it'll be yours one day too.
Okay.
It's really hard, and for everyone out there, here's an exercise for you, right? Try to pick the one that's single in this team.
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Fitzy, Wippa and Kate's Married at First Sight dinner party.
Oh my God.
Don't miss the Married at First Sight final vows. Sunday 7 p.m. on 9 and 9 Now.
We've got some great news. Grace from Marsden Park, you're coming along to our MAFS dinner party, Grace.
Woohoo! Thank you! Oh my gosh! Can I put that tail
Can you do what?
for him?
Completely
okay.
missed
Oh,
Grace.
we can't. Maybe she's requesting who she wants to sit next to.
Grace, we're going to sit you next to Lauren, yeah?
Oh, my best friend! What's it gonna work?
She's here in the studio. Say hello. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Can't wait to see you tomorrow night.
I think we're gonna get on great.
I think so.
This is like traffic dating. It's so awkward. It's weird.
Now, you can still register on the Nova Player app or online at novafm.com.au. I think we're giving away a double tomorrow as well, so get involved there. But Lauren, welcome. Thank you for coming. Because initially, Lauren, when all this controversy started happening with Jono and we found out that Jono was texting early and there's 100 different text messages, you went underground. We were told we can't get Lauren on the show. We don't think that she's going to be able to come to the MAFS dinner party. Why? What was going on there?
I think at the time, you know, people are so invested in the show, and I think that those kind of spoilers are really frowned upon. We are in contracts as well. So
yes.
you are meant to adhere to the contract that we read and we sign. So I think at that point it was like, don't speak to anyone, don't speak to any media, because I'm not going to come in here and sit and like lie to you guys.
Do you know what's hard though, Lauren? There's two sides to this, because one is what we see on TV, and that's the production side of it. But the other side of it is real life, because we're talking about, although it's orchestrated for entertainment purposes, we're talking about real people with real hearts and feelings, and that's the tricky part. And if you're spending all this time with Jono and this is somebody that you're sleeping next to and you're kissing, well, then there's going to be raw emotion attached.
There's definitely raw emotion attached. You know, even though we had a really tumultuous relationship, it was very up and down. You know, we were very open about how we weren't madly in love with each other, but we really did try. I feel like, you know, we could have probably left sooner.
Yeah, who do you think tried harder?
I think Jono tried harder.
What could you have done better?
I just have really little patience, and like sometimes, the sound of him breathing made me feel frustrated.
You said off air that he was a really good kisser.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
No, she didn't.
No, she didn't.
Don't make that.
What was he good at? What were his great skills?
He was really good at going to the post office and picking up my dresses for the dinner party. No, he was. He was really attentive.
Yeah.
And he was very good at texting.
Other girls.
So last
he was
night,
really good to me in many, many ways.
Okay.
So Lauren, we've got to give you the heads up. There's going to be an honesty box tomorrow night. There'll be questions from the listeners. So and last night with the honesty box, and Jess, can you get this the first grab there? But Jono opened up and was quite honest last night.
Shocking.
And you were dumbfounded. We don't have that grab.
Yeah, it got a bit punchy, didn't it? If we've got it there.
We'll have to come back to that one. But we will be asking you the tough questions last night. So there was 100 text messages with Ellie that we knew about. But can you give us an update now? Where is it at with Jono and Ellie? Are they still texting each other, or what's happening?
I'm not really meant to give away any spoilers, but I think we've seen,
photos.
Seen the photos. And I have to say, I think from the beginning it was obvious that they would have been a better match. Personalities are quite similar.
In what way?
Yeah.
What's most similar about them?
Like, try not to be shady, but when I looked at the messages, they weren't riveting conversationalists.
Boring.
Yeah, boring.
They're just both both really nice people. I just don't think I'm as nice.
Equals boring, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think sometimes I'm a bit brutal, and I think I was a bit much for Jono in that way. And I think Ellie is a genuinely really nice girl.
Okay, so we've seen photos, and you think that they're better matched. So where are they at in their? I mean, I know it's hard to speak.
Are they together?
Well, they have to be
I
together.
think they might be frolicking in the ocean somewhere in the Gold Coast.
It's like the experts have got it wrong, and which is I cannot believe that on Married at First Sight. It's unbelievable. So can you? All right. Can we ask you the question? We want you to be honest here, Lauren. If it wasn't for Jono on the show, who are you more likely, sort of? Yeah, who was the person that you drawn to on the show? Did you have someone that was your type on the show?
Had to pick one, who would it be, Lauren?
I've been asked this question, and I'm really good friends with Timothy and Tristan.
Yes.
Timothy's personality is right up my alley.
But he's a bit older, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm honestly not interested in anyone in that way, but if I absolutely had to choose, it would probably be Timothy.
All right. Yeah, have you hooked up with anyone since the show?
No.
Do you have another boy, another
really
partner?
It's not
really
sad. No, it's not.
pathetic.
Enjoy the
How
ride.
do you meet, when you do a show like this, and you get to the end and then you kind of get your life back, or at least you can make your own choices to a point, how do you then meet people?
Well, I don't know yet, because the thing is, we, like I said before, with the contracts, we have to adhere to that, and so I've been really good about, I'm not
being quiet.
Yeah,
Lauren, did you ever bloke in Bali?
Oh, yeah, I hooked up with a dude in Bali before the show, and I told Jono about that.
Yeah,
so,
but were you talking to this guy while you're on the show? Were you texting him and stuff?
No, once he knew that I was going on the show, he wasn't interested. I'm sorry, what normal dude even applies for this show? Let's be real.
Right. So you've got a family in Bali. Is that correct?
I
You've got another family in Bali.
I've got 30 children in a village. I've been Jimbaran Bay.
Yeah. Lauren,
literally.
were you the one? This was right at the start of the show.
Yeah.
Were you the one in the relationship? Did Jono tell you to put a top on to come to bed? Was that you?
No, he would never do that.
Right.
No,
I'm trying
he's that was
Lucinda.
No, that was Lucinda and Timothy.
Right.
And Lucinda turns to Timothy and goes, "Well, you've got a set of boobs too." So good, iconic.
We love Lucinda so much on this show. She's coming tomorrow night, Lauren. She's coming tomorrow.
I know. I can't wait to see her.
Do you know, as far as the experiment is concerned, I find it fascinating, and I would be so uncomfortable, and I know I wouldn't sleep. But that first night after your marriage, the fact that you get into bed with somebody you don't know would be so weird.
It is weird, but that's what I remember saying, for our wedding night. Yeah.
Yes, if you've never done that before.
But the difference is...
Yeah, I know.
That second. I was like, what?
Is the weirdest thing the person in the bed or the cameraman at the end of the bed?
No, the weirdest thing is that you can't call them an Uber in the morning and tell them to get out. That's the weirdest thing.
No, Lauren, can I just say, do you know what's even weirder? That you have to talk about your sex life on the show. Like,
I know.
This is where Jack and Tori, I know that's a bit weird, that relationship, but I was all for them going, you know what, we're not going to tell you what we're doing in the bedroom. That's so creepy.
I completely agree. So we hooked up the very first night. Like, our wedding day was so much fun. We had a lot to drink. It was like we fell into bed at the end of the night. Like, that was it. Like you kind of do on a one night stand. I woke up in the morning, I was like, how do I get out of this one? But the thing is, I said to Jono, like, I'm really uncomfortable about talking about these. Like, I've got a dad, I've got a business, and this is fucking weird. Like, that was my main thing about doing the show, is I really didn't want to talk about sex. And anyway, so he's promised me, he's like, we won't talk about it. So we were asked about it for the whole week, and we were saying, no. And then we get to the commitment ceremony on the Sunday, and the experts ask us, and how do you look at, John, Mel, and Alessandra in the face and lie to them? You just can't. And so I got word vomit, and I was like, and so then that was it. And then they never really asked us about it again, because if you're honest, that's it.
Yeah, you kind of own it.
I find that so weird.
It's weird.
Well,
It is weird. What did your mum and dad say? Like, any feedback from the family?
When I said that comment at the dinner party to Jono, I was like, Jack's not going to suck you at the end of the night. I know. I called my mum, and my mum was like, you handle yourself well. And she goes, Rob, anything you want to say to your daughter? He goes, nah. And I was like, okay, cool.
Dad was embarrassed.
Doesn't want to hear that kind of stuff. But I think it was an analogy, because there was none of that going on by that stage, trust me. I was...
Well, your dad's going to be at the dinner party tomorrow night. We'll get more out of him.
Bring in the dads.
Bring in the dads.
Oh, wow.
No, you will be there. There'll be some hard-hitting questions. Ben's he's written a song for you as well, Lauren. He'll be performing that on the guitar. No, he's not coming. He's shut off as well. We couldn't get Ben. We couldn't get Jack.
If you couldn't get Ben, he was on his own press tour. He was talking to anyone that would talk to him.
Oh, my God.
He's calling up everyone.
Lauren, thank you for coming, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys. Can't wait.
You're the best.
The Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
If I could take you back to Saturday night, guys, went along to the SCG, tipped in a couple of tins with a good old mate by the name of Cameron Daddo. Dropped a name from Home and Away fame in more recent
not really.
times.
I think he's been known for a lot more than that, to be honest with you.
I would have said, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being known from Home and Away.
I was celebrating it. Very handsome man, isn't he?
He's done many other things.
Beautiful looking beast. And Cameron,
you guys got flogged on Saturday night.
No,
It would have been tough for you.
Certainly didn't get flogged.
What was the score?
I think it was 6 goals, wasn't it?
Yeah, we fell apart in the
5,
last.
6 goals?
We were with them to three-quarter time, and then we fell apart.
You tried to rough them up a bit and it didn't work.
How'd the Crows go, mate? Another loss?
Yeah, no, we're talking about your team with Cameron Daddo.
Still haven't had a win this year. That's okay. Anyway, we got out of the ground.
I don't know what they're talking about, but it's so amusing.
I was there with the boys, with Ted and Jack. Now, when you are with your kids, there's a level of responsibility that you expect from the rest of the crowd when you see kids.
First mistake.
Now, I got outside the ground, and I'm a very fast mover when we're travelling. I'm like, we've got to go here, we've got to go there. Guys, keep up with me now. Let's go. We don't muck around in crowds.
When are we going to see that?
Next week. I'm warming up. Anyway, there was on two
At the end of the MAFS dinner party, you'll see it.
Oh, gone. Like that. You won't even notice. Flash of a pan. Poof, he's gone.
No, I do think I'm a bit like that, because it can get scary. So you're like, right, hang on to my hand.
Yep, we're going now.
We are going right now. See that gap, and if you get lost, I'll meet you there.
Yeah. Then we bumped into another Essendon supporter. And we overheard this group that was walking past us. I can't believe that. And the F-bomb was dropped. It was at that stage I turned and I went, hey! What's your language in front of my kids?
Oh, I don't know about that one.
And I became that dad. So what was great, one of the other guys in the group turned to his mate and said, yeah, mate, what's your language? Can you? He's got kids. And I thought, that's quite mature of you.
That's great.
So then there was a couple of girls that walked past, and they'd had a couple of sherbets. They'd had a couple of tins. And they walked past. One of them dropped the F-bomb. Hey!
Oh,
I
you
said, "What?
didn't
Hey,
again, did you?
Just watch your language in front of the kids.
because you were full of confidence at this point. You thought people are going to keep
Yeah,
back
and what
in
I
there.
loved was the fact that in the first group, for example, number 1, the other guy realised that I was in the right, and he jumped in to be on my team against his mate and said, "Hey, do watch your language." When I said to these 2 girls walking past, "Hey, watch your language in front of the kids."
But you know what? You've got to understand. I can understand if it's a constant thing at the footy. If someone's swearing constantly, but if it's
and they're
a
in the
one-off,
row in front of you or something.
the other thing you've got to work out as well, your kids are going to be hearing this at school.
Not the
constant.
Not
No,
the point.
I think it's a very good example
Gotta
to
set the
hear
example.
your parent
Yep.
kind of stand up for what is
Right.
appropriate. I think that's an important lesson. I'm not saying you're not going to hear it, but I think a complete acceptance of it is...
So when these 2 girls who ignored me walked past, got about 10 metres up the street, and one of them turned around and yelled out, Get trucked.
to you?
To me.
Or to Ted?
No, to
to you.
maybe Ted, maybe Jack, to
blew
the
up.
group. That's what I realised. Maybe telling them off isn't the best way forward.
You're
because
going to
that's
get
action.
more...
Yeah, you got more, and it wasn't just an F-bomb. It was an aggressive F-bomb.
Yeah, it was. I know at the dog park on Sunday we were walking beside 2 blokes. One of them both had wedding rings because I always do the little
of course,
check.
yeah, check that.
And one was telling the other one that the girlfriend was having a baby, or the wife was having a baby, but rather than just saying, "Oh yeah, my wife's having a baby," he decided to put
Throw a bomb in.
trucken in there, and at least with May now, she's 9. We'll walk along and she'll hear it. She'll just look with like a really cheeky look at me, and I said, and I'll nod and go, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, I heard it too.
And I say, "Well, at least Mummy never says that," and then she grins even bigger
Because Mummy does say it sometimes.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
cool.
I remember Dad telling a kid off at McDonald's for farting once when we were growing up.
What?
He told a kid off who was there with a group of mates sitting not far from us, who let Smokey off the chain, and Dad said, "Could you not do that in front of my kids?"
Well, no, he didn't.
That is... Do you know what? That would fire me up even more.
Yeah.
I would be telling the whole group to brew as much fart as you can.
Can you imagine the smell,
Hey, boys, go.
smelling in that while you're eating a warm apple pie?
Yeah. Little David, go sit on his lap and do it.
Oh, here we go.
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
I went to my girlfriend's house on the weekend because
Wasn't Julie?
I have more than one friend,
Mitzvah.
more than one sister, and more than one friend. Her name is Ms. Parr.
Cool.
No. Actually, no, it wasn't Ms. Parr. It was just a random friend.
Okay.
Because now the story I'm about to tell.
What, you only just met them that time?
I just was wandering along McPherson Street in Bronte, and I thought, this looks like a nice house.
Is there anyone home?
Hello. Oh, was it Chloe, was it?
I might...
It was Chloe.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Chloe. So I went to see my friend Chloe, and her husband was harumphing around the kitchen. Because
What was that word?
Harumphing. It's the second time I've used it this week. Second time in 2 days.
Skibbity.
I'm going to go with it because it means it's like a funny way of saying that they had and they were wandering
sure, they're angry.
around. Yeah. Chloe's husband has been roped into being the coach of a team.
Okay.
For their kids.
This is awesome.
What sport do you know?
Some kind of football.
All right, good.
Well, I don't know. And the thing is, I don't want to give too many details because I feel as though I'm now about to talk about someone's life without their permission.
Okay, did Chloe's husband play the game? Does he know the sport?
I would imagine so, and has watched a lot of it.
Right. Yeah.
And watched it and up close and personal. Like has a lot of experience with the game.
Okay, well that's all right.
I mean, it's kids' sport. It doesn't really. How much do you actually need to know? Well, this is the thing. I thought it was cute. You say I'm going to be the coach of the team. You get to hang out with the kids. It's a really nice bonding experience, and you just got to rock up at 8:00 on the Saturday morning.
Sure.
Well, he's not. not happy. And please give us a call, 13 24 10, if you have got yourself in way too far.
Yeah, what's the crap role that you've got?
Or maybe you're the manager. Apparently the manager's not a big deal. You just got to tick the names off. Is that right?
Oh, no, because you know what? Martha's the manager of our footy team, and she took on the role. And you now have to sign in shirts, so that number goes to that person.
Yeah.
You've got to give an update on ground. You've got to give an update on ground condition and change of times.
Usually,
it's full on.
Usually you've got to wash the jerseys as well. This is the thing. You've got to organise the goal umpires, the boundary umpires.
You have to put the sticks in the side?
It's full on. It's a huge commitment. And do you know what? Actually, so the reason why I don't coach my children is because my father coached me my whole junior career, Kate. And I'm not joking. My dad, he coached for around about 30 years, my old man. And Dad was a sparky and worked his ass off. So he'd started around about 6 in the morning and he'd come home at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, Kate. And then every night would be a footy training session.
Yeah, I know.
Then on Friday nights, Mum would cook for the A-grade team that Dad coached, and they would have team meetings at our house. I remember as a kid trying to get to sleep, Kate, and it'd be 11 o'clock at night on a Friday night, and Dad's doing tactics with the team before a game on a Saturday.
How old were you at that point? I mean, are you really taking it that seriously?
Yeah, 7 or 8, but it's a huge commitment, and some people are born to do it. Like, I remember the satisfaction that my old man got out of it, but I just don't have that. I don't have one of those bones in my body. Like, I just don't want to do it.
You want to be on the sideline, though, cheering along. This is the thing about this. My friend Chloe, her husband, I don't think he quite knew what he was getting into, because, no joke, when I was at this random house on the Saturday, that night he had to toddle off at like 5 o'clock to go to a 3-hour...
Toddle or harumphing?
Coaching. No, he'd been harumphing up and down the hallway.
Now he had to toddle.
Then he had to toddle off to the 3 hours of coaching for coaching.
No, there's a coach's course. There's a coaching course. You need a coaching.
And then he had to do not an HR course, but then something to say that he was allowed
to work with kids,
hang around the children. And she sent me the most funny photo of him because he wasn't happy.
Furious.
Because she'd actually put him in to do the job, and they're still looking for a trainer who apparently runs the water on.
Okay.
And which I should put my hand up for, but she sent me the funniest photo of him, and the highlight of his whole night was that he got one of those plastic, like a milk, when the old milk, the milkos deliver the milk, so he could put all the drink bottles in.
The water bottle holders.
Oh, Brendan in Mount Annan, you've been roped into a position with the kids' sport, have you, buddy?
Mate, yeah, I just got roped into coaching my son's OzTag team this year, but I've been managing my son's soccer team for the last 6 to 7 years. And last year was pretty tough with all the political aspects of what goes on when kids start to get a bit older.
Yeah. Brendan, that's the thing, because the minute you take on a role like this, it's not so much the kids and the organisation, it's the other parents. They're the problem.
Oh, yeah.
They're the worst. Well, especially when it comes to grading, and you got to pick the best kids. The best is at the start of a season, right? You get a team together and no one really wants to put their hand up to coach, Kate. And then there's always a moment where there's a group of parents around and someone from the club will go, okay, we need just a volunteer. Is there anybody here that would like to coach?
Anyone.
And you'll get one... You'll get one dad or something that'll just slowly start to put up their hand and instantly be like, okay, you're the coach for 2024. And then you can see his wife then go, oh, God, well, then I'm not going to see you for the next 6 months.
Marriage is over.
This is the Fitzy and Wippa with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Got an email from Maddie. She needs help with a message from Dan.
I just got a text from my mom.
Yes, because I'm a textpert, an expert at texting.
Write my reply.
Maddie got a message from Dan. How's this? They went on 2 dates about 3 months ago. Yeah. It fizzled out and they haven't spoken since. Although he does occasionally heart eyes her on Insta stories.
Oh, he's there. There's still...
He messaged her this last night. So we're going to help you out, Maddie, because we're going to break down this text message that Dan has sent.
So they haven't been speaking regularly for a while. They had a
no.
couple of dates, okay, and it's been on and off, okay.
Yeah, Maddie's not sure if Dan is inviting her on a date or if just wants to buy tickets.
What does he kick off with? The first line is so crucial.
Hey, Mads. Been a little while. You looked like an absolute 10 for your birthday on Insta. Okay, rating system.
Absolute 10.
I've got 2 tickets to Niall Horan at the Horden in May. I know you love him, so I thought you'd like to see the show. You keen? Don't have slow hands. Let me know ASAP. Ha 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 ha. Classic, he wrote.
Oh, he's ended with a classic, has he?
So, yeah, Maddie's not sure if that's a date or if he's just trying to sell tickets.
Is Maddie a moron?
No, Maddie's not a moron. What's interesting?
I don't mean that, Maddie. I know you're probably listening, but what I mean is I feel like as though it's pretty clear. Of course it is.
When Kate Ritchie talks about her on the radio, she is now known as Maddie the moron.
No, but I didn't. I was just trying to find an M word.
Do you know what upsets me about this? Is there was 2 dates 3 months ago, and it saddens me, Dan, that it's had to take a nice photo of Maddie on Instagram for it to re-spark your interest. Because you weren't thinking about her, but all of a sudden, according to you, she looks like a 10 in her birthday photos.
I thought you said she gave her a bit of a love heart eyes every now and then.
Yeah, but no real contact. He's just dropping it. He's just feeding. He's keeping something on the line. It's a bit of burly every now and then.
What's that called? Orbiting or something?
Orbiting, where they just continue to circle in the area.
Can
My God.
You guys are missing out on the biggest point
What
here.
is it?
Okay, love God.
He's got 2 tickets. Were they originally bought for Maddie? Was that extra ticket originally bought for Maddie, and has someone pulled out and now he's gone to his second option in Maddie?
I don't think that matters.
I think if he's a second option guy, he wouldn't be offering the extra ticket to Niall Horan in May. Because May's a long way off. A lot could happen between now and then.
Do you know the other thing too? I agree completely.
I think he's actually honing in. Like, to make a commitment that far out.
He's honing.
Yeah.
I know you love this. I know you love him, so I thought you'd like to see the show. I quite like the idea that he's had the presence of mind to remember her interests. And then say, well, I know that
that,
you
mate.
like
You're giving him way too much credit. He says, okay, you look like an absolute 10. Oh, thanks. Thanks, whatever your name is. What's his name?
Dan.
Dan. Thanks, Dan. You scored me a 10. I'm so lucky. I've got 2 tickets to Niall Horan. You might like them. Oh, thanks, Dan. You're a legend. And then he makes a joke about don't have slow hands.
Yeah. Do you mean that could be a...
I know it's a reference to the song.
Yeah, but he's not thinking...
But then ends it with a classic, like as if it's a joke. If you don't want to put your hands all over me, it's a joke.
It's
classic.
Because you'd also, if they go along to the concert, you'd be thinking, what's going to happen during that song? Is he going to start to touch my bottom? Maybe.
I don't think she's. Just stop. I think. Look, I think she just
all
says.
Slow hands. They look like they're Russian
Hey,
to
Dan,
me.
you haven't lost it. Niall Horan sounds good. May is a long way off.
No, Kate Ritchie.
You're drowning here.
I wouldn't go. I wouldn't be jumping in.
Mine would be, hey Dan, appreciate the message.
Keep you posted.
Yeah. How did you get 2 tickets to Niall Horan?
That's engaging in conversation.
Let's establish that, Kate, because like Fitzy said, if they were bought for somebody else and she's the B option, even though she's a 10 according to Dan, then let's kind of explore that a little bit further.
Do you know what I would write? I would write, funny, thank you very much for thinking of me. Already got tickets with the girls. But what else are you offering?
What do you mean by that?
That is the worst reply.
What if she wrote back?
Terrible reply.
Sounds great, Dan.
It's not a contract negotiation.
Sounds great, Dan. I'm already going with Steve.
No, you don't even say that. You are giving Dan way too much information because it fizzled out. Maybe you say, thanks for thinking of me for the tickets, but I thought you died. That's what I would say.
Fits in Wippa with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova Player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova Player.